Hi and welcome. This is part one of our day van conversion. Today we're going to start with stripping out the ply lining, the floor, degreasing the panels and trying to paint over any of the rust spots or bare metal that we've got inside. We're also going to take the bulkhead out. Well, I'm actually going to do that first so it gives us a little bit more light to work in here. It's raining, grey, so as much light as we can get would be useful. On this Vivaro, Primer Star, Traffic, whatever one you want to call it, you've got Torx bolts all the way around, and there's a couple of rivets as well holding up. So let's start with taking all the Torx bolts out. So 40 Torx on these, and they are quite stiff. I didn't have a Torx socket on me, so I've had to use a screwdriver. Just hope they're not all of this stiff. That's this side out. As mentioned before, this kind of leans over, and I want a bit of extra space for a unit against this panel. So and then, hopefully, should be able to just drill these two rivets out. So I'm going to get a 5mm metal bit. And there we go, drilled it out. Give it a push. That was really easy. Use a cloth because I haven't got any gloves on me. And that's it. As you can see, it's opened up, give us a bit more light now. Next job, get the ply off and apply floor, hopefully. Do want to save this ply because we are going to carpet it. The ply is in actually good condition. So let's work on taking that up. As always, when removing ply from a van, you never kind of really know what's going to be behind. Could have been on from new, or it could be there to cover something up. I'm assuming this one was from new. It's been a bit of money putting in the heavy duty brackets for the racking. That looks like it's just catching on the rivet. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's nice. This is going to save us a bit. When we are putting the walls back, we can carpet these, make them nice. Now these back door panels, they look like they're just silicone, didn't they? So I'm going to cut them out with a bit of a knife. Just break it up, give me a bit of a sharp edge. Now hopefully that should come out with a bit of prising. Oh, that I think might have done the trick. There we go. So just needed a bit of screw in the edge to although yeah, this is gonna not be salvageable. Much as I wanted to save these. This I'm going to need to get a scraper blade and get this off. This is proper stuck in. Give it a good paint because let's see how that comes off though. Right, the handle's already missing a clip. That's that off. You can see someone's done a lovely bit of fixing on this panel. Yeah, there we go. We've got the reversing camera wire. I believe that is linked into the reverse lights to trigger it to when to turn on. I mean, overall, door looks alright. Right, with the same here, we're going to have to try and scrape off as much of this as we can. About half of it off. Let's see if we can drill in again and get a bit of leverage on the panel. There we go. Might need another one just to bring it out a little bit more. We go, we've actually managed to save that as a template. Are they the same? No, they're freaking, of course they're not. Who would have thought to make two back doors the same? This one looks like it's not been screwed in, but we're going to break all the clips anyway because they've been in there for God knows how long. There we go. That one's off. A bit tighty, but we're going to get carpeting on these. I'm going to give this panel a quick spray and degrease. Doesn't need a lot. Yes, everything's been covered. Just want to make sure when we come to painting all the marks and covering it with the sound deadening, we're going to get the best adhesion possible. And this comes up really nice. See, a little bit of dusting on here. some surface rust, but nothing drastic. On to the passenger side. Light spray at the top, bit of grime along there. This panel, well, I can tell you now, has been replaced at some point. That's not the factory finish, so there's a bit of a ding in the quarter. But I mean, there's a few dings on the outside of the quarter now, so. I'm going to put the rust paint all over the roof, over the arches. Probably going to need 2 coats, so I want to do one now. I'm not going to take the floor up because it's got these little ridges on the floor. It's going to absolutely kill my knees. Being that side of 40, don't need that, so I'm going to leave the floor while I do the first coat on here. So now we've had time for this to degrease, dry off. It's time for me to hammer out all the little bare metal and rust spots, just to give it a bit of protection. You can do this multiple ways. This is the quickest way. And to be honest, I'm not going to spend that much money on the van. Quite high mileage, it was cheap, and we're doing a budget camper. This paint is going to outlast probably the engine in the van, so let's not go too wild. I do is just get anywhere you can see a bit of bare metal or any rust. Which in here is quite a lot, so not so much the rust, but definitely lots of bare metal, because being a builder's van, you know, the gas person's van, so lots of pipes and stuff and tools scratching up the inside. Actually, I didn't mention I was the on the side of 40, so bit of rubber matting for my knees while I'm painting. Oh, so much better. So yeah, as you can see, lots of scratch marks down to the metal. Not rusted, but we're just covering them up. As using it as a day van, it's going to generate some moisture. And we don't want it to rust in the future. As you can see on the roof, yeah, there's little bits of tools have gone in. Weird scratches, bit of rust. This roof beam, that looks like the worst one. So use a big brush on here. So we're out of paint. Lesson learned. A van that needs lots of painting needs a bigger paint can than that. But we've covered the rear quarter, the C panel on both sides, and the wheel arches. As much as I want to salvage this floor. This is going to be a pain. This is going to be a fucker to get up. The heavens have opened. I'm out of drill battery and I'm out of paint. A lot of the screws are stuck in. I'm going to have to drill the heads off. Then I think I'm going to have to angle grind them out the floor. So I'm leaving this one to another day. Right, good morning. It's the next day, and while I wanted to save this floor, there's so many rusty screws in this plywood that I've just had to take a crowbar to it. I've drilled the top out of them. Still wasn't really coming up in one piece, so I'm going to crack on now with the crowbar. As you can see, it's filthy under the floor as well. Just getting the leverage on these middle screws as a full board is quite difficult. That's what we needed. You can see we're still left with the bits that have been glued onto the floor for a bit of support. So I'm going to work on getting these off. Floor's out. That was an absolute pig of a job to do. Whoever installed this floor done a really good job. Didn't want it removing. It's been bonded down, riveted down, it's bolted down in places where it's obviously had some serious heavy duty racking in it. Now it's time to clean up the floor and see what we're left with. Make sure I'm picking up any screw bits that are broken. Don't want a flat tire. So yeah, here we go. Just on the final bit now of the hoovering, making sure got any tools, nails, screws, etc. all out of the van. I was going to use like panel wipes, but I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to take an absolute age. I had these, which I've seen other people using, but I'm going to coat this with heavy duty degreaser and I'm going to jet wash it out. Literally, I'm going to cover everywhere, let it dwell, and then I'm going to go and set the jet wash up. This has had about 5 minutes of the degreaser on there. I'm going to get my trusty leaking jet wash, comes out of here as well as there, and rinse it off. An off-brand scrub daddy and a metal scourer. Two washes with a jet wash and a scrubber in between. Now, dry the floor. It's like a ultra plush microfiber, which is great at absorbing water. And that's that, all dry. Actually looks really good. Was actually thinking it was going to be a lot worse. But what I am going to do while we're here, because we're going to get some CT1 for the fill the holes, some more metal paint, but I'm going to finish drying, and I've got some dodo matting sound deadening, so the wheel arches and the panels I cleaned up yesterday, I'm going to put some of that on there. I'm going to give the wheel arch a little dry off, although it's virtually dry already. Same within there. Now, I've got some of this dodo mat, which is foil with butyl back. It works by reducing the resonance on the panel. As mentioned, I want full coverage on here because this is where you get most of your road noise. And as it's mid-January, I've got a heat gun just to warm this up a little bit, make it a bit easier to apply it and to make it stick. So let's see, if I go down there, and it leaves me a strip at the bottom. So probably gonna take it all the way up to here. And cover that as well. So a lot of people say use a roller. I actually find this is really easy to work. It's really easy to work with, especially when it's warm. But you can get right in, press it in with your fingers. As you can see, literally pushing down with my fingers, and you can see it contouring round the wheel arch into, it's kind of contoured around now. You're gonna need some cheap scissors for this, because when you cut this stuff, absolutely the tar stuff on the back ruins anything good. Gets on your fingers, fucker to get off already. So I'm going to carry on with this. Not going to let you watch me, but I'll show you it when it's done. As you can see, it contours into the bodywork really well. A bit of heat, and I just pressed it in with a bit of scissors. But when I get the roller, I'll give it a quick roll over. Right, I've got 4 and a bit sheets left. So we'll work on this side. I've got more coming, but just using what I've got now. People are going to say use less than this, 30 to 50% of the panel. I'm also taking into account this is part of the panel, so this is it so far. We've got the ply floor out, had the ply lining, degreased it, painted the rust bits. So now, done the wheel arches, done the panels up here. What I need to do now is go on a school run, finish cleaning up the mess here, get some white paint, get some more degreaser, and yeah, carry on. Oh, also need to get some CT1 to fill in the holes So I'm gonna go and do that, and I'll catch up with you a bit later in the video. The weather outside is horrible. We've got the back end of the storm, but I want to get all the roof finished with a rust coat. Yesterday, off camera, I CT1'd all of the holes in the floor. So we're gonna get the roof done, work down the sides, and then hopefully get the floor done. But the weather is shocking. So we're in here with a heater and a light just to get things moving. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, you've got a T5, you've got a caravan, why are you doing this? Yes, I've got the T5, and I would love to do the T5 as well, but I've never done one before. Watch YouTube videos. I'm even making a YouTube video now to show you this is my first experience with converting into a camper, a day van. T5 costs a lot more money. This was effectively free. It was broken down, I've repaired it for not a lot of cost at all, and got it MOT'd. So, it's not the tidiest looking van, but it allows me to practice on something that's not cost me a lot of money. Like we said, we're doing this budget. So while I had these left over from my T5 door install, I've actually ordered budget material, sound deadening and insulation off of eBay, which is roughly half the price of the Dodo mats. So the sound insulation one here, the sound deadening, it's a beautiful sheet with foil on top. Can't see that being any different. The next one, the closed cell foam, the same. Maybe the adhesive is different, but we'll see. When we install the next stage, in the upcoming videos, you'll see how that goes and see what mistakes I learned from doing it for the first time. So yeah, this is a project for not only the family, but it's also for me to learn. I'd like a bigger one, like a Sprinter, but again, comes down to the cost again. And let's get some experience in doing it before I move on to something bigger. Because people that do know me will be like, wow, you like to take on a project. This isn't just one of the projects I've got going on right now, but I actually reined myself in on this one and thought, no, don't get a Sprinter, long wheelbase, high roof, because I need to learn. So I'm going to learn the small way and go from there. So let's carry on, get this painted, and we'll let you know how today goes. You can see we cleaned this yesterday with a jet wash and the degreaser. Done a great job. We've done all the hole filling with the CT1, and now I'm just going to touch up the rest of the marks in here, which actually isn't a huge amount. Floor completely covered, ceiling done, back two panels done. Yes, I've got the rear doors to tackle, but I'm going to try and fix the lock first, pick the rest of that wood off, and then I'm going to jet wash them like I did. Not sure what's going to do with the front doors yet, or the sliding doors. Not sure whether I want to have a window or leave them as panels. So maybe a window on one side, but I don't know. So that's why I haven't tackled them yet. I haven't forgot, but I just wanted to get all of this done so it's prepped, drying. So when the sound insulation and the thermal liner turn up, I can crack on with those panels, reduce the noise in here a bit. That is it now for this video. So what we've done is stripped out, cleaned, degreased, covered all the rust spots, and we've got it ready for the next stage of our build, which is going to be sound deadening and insulation. So thank you very much for watching. I know it's a bit different from our allotment videos, our cooking videos, or our day out, but you'll see that this does link in with our days out. So, and more importantly, it's something I enjoy doing, which all of this channel is about. It's about what we enjoy doing as a family. So it's going to vary with our content, because we're not going into a specific niche to say, right, I'm working on cars, I'm working on cooking, I'm working on the lot. This is us as a family and what we love doing. So to be able to be in a position, luckily enough, to be able to do this is a really blessing. I didn't think I was going to be able to do this, or I dreamt about it for a while. I always looked at the bigger vans, but like I said, this is my practice project. I want to get some experience doing this before I move on to something bigger, and it costs me a lot more money. Thank you once again for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. If you want to do something similar, or you're following along, you're a first timer like me, this is what I've done. A lot of people on YouTube have inspired me. Love Sundays, DTE, all being part of the inspiration for me doing this. And yeah, this is all saying now. I'm going to put the heater inside, let it dry for an hour or two before school run. And until the next video, I'll see you later.